All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Makar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the nation of Israel. This is going to be a lesson on Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, going into how it's a further proof that we are the Israelites, man. And I'm going to show some proof right now that's happening right now in the earth that backs this up. Alright, so this is Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 16. Moreover, because the daughter, Salakia. Moreover, Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, mincing and tinkling, mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. I'll read it again. Moreover, the Lord Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. I'll read it again. Moreover, Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. So because the daughters of Zion are haughty, meaning they're proud, right? And they're walking with stretched forth necks, meaning that they just think that nothing can happen to them, right? They're being cocky, they're being proud, right? They're not being humble, they're not being meek, right? And wanton eyes, meaning that their eyes are going from one thing of lust to another lust that they have, right? They might have a husband and their eyes are looking at another one guy, then peering around looking at the next guy, right? Because they're doing this. 1 second, Salakia. Therefore Yahweh will smite. Therefore Yahweh will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and Yahweh will discover their secret parts. So it says that there's going to be a scab put upon the heads of the daughters of Zion, man, of the daughters of Israel. Now, I went on the internet and I typed in black women, scab of boldness, right? And look at what we see, right? Salakia. It says, what is causing this woman's extreme hair loss, right? And as you can see, that's what's happening to her hair. Then it's got here, the female hair loss epidemic, the truth about the black female hair loss epidemic. And I doubt that they're going to use this prophecy, right? But if you even just look at these women, she's got a cocky look on her face right there. She's got a cocky look, right? They've got a cocky look, man. They're not humble, they're not meek, right? They're not. They've got proud looks on their face, man. And that's the reason why they've got hair like this. That's the reason why they've got hair like this, man. This woman's got the same hairstyle as me, right? She's got, in fact, she maybe got a little bit more hair than I've got on my head, but she's got the same hairstyle as me. This one down here as well. She's got the same hairstyle as me, the one on the right, and the one on the left. And the one in the middle, she's damn near the same thing. That all three of them, they've got bald heads, man. Right? They're losing their hair, they've got baldness. Here again, you see this woman with her hair bald, and I'm probably gonna watch this video. In fact, let me store that. Let me save that to watch for later. I want to watch this, right? I want to watch that hair loss regrowth journey. So there's all these things going into these Israelite women, who we believe the Israelite women are, and you can just see that they've got extreme hair loss, man. Why is this happening? I went bald again. She's got a cocky look in her face. Look, all of these 5 women here, they're humble. They're not humble. They're haughty. They're proud. This woman here, she's hardly got any hair either. You see? They're all going through this, man. What's going on? What's going on? The hair ends up going disgusting, so they end up cutting it off. And Yahweh said he was going to do that, because a woman's glory is her hair. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 17, therefore Yahweh will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and Yahweh will discover their secret parts. In that day, the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their calls, and their round ties like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs, the headbands and the tablets and the earrings, the rings and nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel, and the mantles and the wimples and the crisping pins, the glasses and the fine linen, and their hoods and their veils, all the things that make the Israelite woman be beautiful. He's going to take them away from her, starting with her hair. as it says in verse 17. Verse 23. The glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils. Now let me go back to verse 22. The changeable suits of apparel and the mantles, because women love clothes, man. And there's some Israelite women these days right now. I ain't gonna lie and say they ain't no Israelite women that can buy certain clothes, but for the most part, the Israelite woman's broke as hell and don't have the access to be buying all these snazzy clothes. That's why they'll sell their soul for a Birkin bag, man. That's why you can buy an Israelite woman cheap for a little bit of $500, and she'll do whatever you ask her under the sun, because it's not normal to her to have these things. So she'll ruin her chance of salvation just to get access to these things, and that's why you got a lot of these so-called black women flying out to Dubai, man, doing some madness. Verse 24, and it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of well set hair, boldness, 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 right? And instead of well set hair, boldness, and instead of well set hair, boldness, let's go some more. And instead of well set hair, boldness. Now she'll try and flex that hairstyle as if that's how she'd really want to have her hair. No, you can't grow more than that because you're proud. Hasn't she got a proud look in her face? Yes. Just all trying to seduce people with her eyes in the camera, right? Stretched forth necks and wonton eyes. And instead of well set hair, boldness, right? And instead of well set hair, boldness again. Like she was talking about how she was bold. And instead of well set hair, boldness. That one don't count, to be fair. But this one, and instead of well set hair, boldness, this one here, like there shouldn't be no thing. 9 products are used for bald head scalp care. Like look, she's proud still. She's trying to make it seem dreamy to have a bald head, man. She's got Samuel Jackson's hairstyle, right? And that's not by choice. Just to put it out there, she'll claim it's by choice, but it's not though, right? And instead of well set hair, boldness, all right? And instead of well set hair, boldness, natural looking wigs. You see, they're catching it, man. And why is this happening to them? Because they're Israelites. Didn't Yahweh say he'd give a scab? Hasn't this little girl here got a scab? Isn't that a scab there? Yes, it is. And I've had Israelite women in my family, and they some can grow hair a little bit more than the others, but for the most part, they can't grow no hair, man. So no one ain't telling me that this ain't true. And when I used to be younger, I'd always be wondering why the women in my family couldn't grow more hair than what I'd see some of these famous musician men would be having. So no one ain't telling me that the Israelite woman, the so-called black woman, who is the Israelite woman, no one ain't telling me that she can grow hair, man. No one ain't telling me that the reason why they're bold and that they have to buy hair from a shop, which is, if anything you're going to be buying from a shop, that should be the last thing you're going to buy, right? But the Israelite woman has to go and buy hair from the shop and some shampoo to clean that hair that she bought, because they're the Israelites and because they're proud and because Yahweh did what he said he was going to do to them. Verse 24, and it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of well set hair, boldness, and their hair stinks because they're putting like their actual natural hair underneath a hat that's made of hair, right? And then it's like tied in there and it stays in there for like a good month because it's expensive to do, right? And then it just stays in there and it goes nasty. It ends up stinking. It's hot underneath there, you know. It's gross, man. It's gross. And this is a punishment to the Israelite woman. Just like our punishment is that we have to deal with the BS that she has when she's running her mouth all the time. That's one of our punishments. But her punishment is that Yahweh took away her beauty. Because a woman being beautiful is a blessing unto her. But if a woman doesn't feel beautiful, it's a curse unto her, and it makes her feel sad and it makes her feel miserable. And these Israelite women, no matter how cocky they want to try and run around, right, they know that they can't grow hair like that. I don't care what no one says. They know that they have a real problem as a whole nation growing hair. And that's why you can do a survey yourself, wherever you are in the world. Start looking at all of these so-called black women and tell me if you can see that they're wearing wigs, or if you can see that they're wearing weave in their hair. You tell me. You tell me I'm lying. And for all you so-called black women that might hear this video, the reason why you've lost your hair, if you've lost it, is because you're proud and you're cocky and you're not humble. All right? And Yahweh, the God of the Bible, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he said he was going to curse you with a bald head, and he's did it. So don't blame anyone apart from yourself. All right? Don't blame me. Don't say I'm chatting shit. It's not true. Blame yourself. Because you're the one that was being cocky. You're the one that was being proud. Therefore, Yahweh took your hair away and made you have to buy your hair from the shop, and made you have to buy the shampoo and the hair at the same time, rather than just buying shampoo like all the other nations women do, right? And made you stink like he said he was going to do as well. He did that. Verse 24 again. And it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, because you're supposed to smell nice and sweet, man. You're supposed to walk past them and they smell nice. Now, am I saying that no Israelite woman smells nice? No, I'm not saying that. But the natural smell ain't smelling right, man. And many brothers have said this. So are they lying? Or let's forget that. Is the Bible lying? Is the Bible saying that you were gonna stink? Yes, it is. So that means that you do. And instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of well set hair, boldness, and instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and burning instead of beauty. So they don't be looking fire no more, man. Right? They don't be looking fire. Look at this. This woman's famous, this one here on the right. I can't remember what her name is. But look at that. That's a number one all over right there. I ain't trying to mock, but hey, that's a number one all over, man. And they try and pretending. She's got the same hair, this woman here, she's got the same hairstyle as me. And that's definitely one-ton eyes if I ever seen it, man. That's one-ton eyes right there. Right? She's got the same hairstyle as a couple of the elders. You know what I mean? Like, she's got the same hairstyle as me. She's got the same hairstyle as a couple of the elders. She's got the same hairstyle as this brother in the background right there. Right? So no one ain't telling me that these women ain't under some kind of curse in their hair, man. Because what nation or what woman is gonna want to buy somebody else's hair rather than grow their own? It's a curse that's been put on them, man. And no one ain't telling me, look at this. She's shaving her head bald, but she's acting like as if there was loads of hair there before. There was hardly anything there in the first place. Because there was a scab that caused the baldness. So he was just like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to cut it all off. And the reason what caused the scab, the thing that caused the scab is this. Isaiah 3 and verse 16, moreover, Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks, and one-ton eyes, walking and mincing as they go. You're hearing that ka-tink, 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 tinkling, tankling, chingling, changling of their feet, minkling and tingling as they go, right? Now, in the ancient world, it was the ankle jewels and that, and some women might try and go on that style now. But nowadays, it's that clicking and clacking of them high heels, man. Right? The high heels click, clack, click, clack, click, clacking your heels off. Because you was doing that, you might be going through the Boring in the Birmingham, proud as hell. You might be going through Wolverhampton shopping centre. You might be going through Westfield. You might be going through Reading shopping centre. I forget the name of the Reading one. You might be going through the Reading shopping centre. You might go through the Coventry shopping centre. Right? You might go down Oxford Circus, cocky as hell. Right? Mincing and tinkling as you go. You might go through Sunset Boulevard. I don't know where the places in America are that you would all this shopping, but you might go to all the malls in America, cocky and proud as hell. And because you did that, that's the reason why you're going bold. That's the reason why, man. And I just showed a couple of images of, instead of well set hair being there on top of these women's head, there's boldness. And what caused this? No one can't tell us that the so-called black woman does not struggle to grow hair. They can't tell us that, man. On average, that doesn't mean that every single so-called black woman that we say is a African, so-called African American, which would be the tribe of Judah. That doesn't mean that every single one of them will not be able to grow hair, but on average, they are some of the most bold-headed women in the world. And I'm saying it like this on purpose, man. I'm saying it in a way to anger, on purpose, man, because you should be hurt by this, you women, man. It should bother you that the only reason why you've got lack of hair on your head is because you can't humble yourself. That should aggravate you and cause you to change up your ways, because there's not a hair product in the world that's going to be able to remove that scab off your head if your Howard doesn't want it to be there, if your Howard doesn't want it removed. And that's the reason why you women are sewing hair into your head, right? Then smacking yourself, tapping it hard as hell because it's itching, tapping it hard as hell because it's getting hot, right? And having a 10-8 round with yourself, man. Having to tap your hair, bob and weave at the same time, knocking yourself upside the head, man. And no one can't tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about, because I've seen this stuff growing up, man. So no one ain't telling me nothing on this. I seen it, and I used to be like, why are you hitting yourself in the head? I used to ask these questions. So no one ain't telling me, nah, that's not true. We don't do that. Yes, you do it. I saw it. I saw the whole process of what would had to be gone through for these women to have to do their hair. I saw it, man. And I'm speaking about it right now because I used to see that as a young man, as a youngster or whatever you want to call it, and now I have the answer to why it happened. Because they're proud, they're haughty, they walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes. And you'd always see the girls at your school or whatever, 1 minute their hair is kind of short, and then the next thing they come in and their hair is long, flowing down their back, and you'd be like, what the fuck? And they'd think that they're deceiving you or tricking you somehow, not realizing that you know the answers because you saw it happen in your own home. And I'm gonna end the lesson there, man. That's the reason why this stuff is happening to these women. And that's a further proof that the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the Israelites. And I'm pretty sure that if some Latino brothers that are around the Northern Kingdom women was to bring it out, I'm pretty sure they'd find that that's, to a certain degree, this is also happening to them as well. Because not every single curse is going to happen to each tribe exactly the same, man. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Quadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the nation of Israel. Shalom.